Hey everyone! Today before I get started, I'd like to give a brief shout out to my friend BitBandit. I found his stuff on Reddit. He does a lot of original crypto artwork and designs that I thought were really neat. And I went on his website and I fell in love with this shirt, and my intention was to buy it and wear it for this video, which I did. And I like it because obviously it is a meditating astronaut with HODL underneath it. So I thought it was a little suiting. I do want to mention that I'm not receiving any form of reimbursement for stating this. This is not a sponsored video. I'm not getting any kickbacks. I paid for this shirt with my own money. I just really like it, thought it was funny, and figure I could tell people to go check out his stuff because I like that he does original crypto artwork. On to the video. So today I'm covering Icon, and the token symbol is ICX. I did a poll last week on Twitter, and I was actually surprised by how much this won by, so here we are. In the spirit of transparency, I do hold a little bit of Icon. I can't imagine that my YouTube channel is big enough or my videos are popular enough yet to affect the price at all, but I am being forthcoming. I do own a little Icon, but again, videos are always unbiased and I'm just trying to present solid information. Let's get started with a little bit of information about the project history and the ICO. So Icon is a project hailing out of South Korea. They ran their pre-sale on September 20th, 2017, and then they ran their public crowd sale on October 20th, 2017. It had a hard cap of 75,000 ETH, and they didn't run any bonus structures or any bonuses to early contributors. Like a lot of recent ICOs, the US was not available to participate in this one, and neither was anybody coming from Singapore or anybody out of China. They did have KYC or Know Your Customer requirements that were there to enforce that. The ICO sold 187.5 million tokens. The ICO provided early investors the opportunity to buy ICX as an ERC20 token. The conversion rate was 1 ETH to 2,500 ICX. A total of 400,230,000 ICX tokens were made available during the ICO. 50% of the total amount was provided to the public during the initial token sale. The other 50% was broken up into groups, and these groups were broken down as follows: 14% for the foundation, 10% for the community partners, 10% for advisors, and 16% went into reserves. An additional 400 ICX tokens have yet to be mined. From the research I did, it seems that the other 400 million ICX tokens are being stored in a public treasury. The amount that's released will be determined based on the consensus of the Icon Republic, and they've stated publicly that the other 400 million won't be released until the mainnet launches, which just happened recently. At first I was really skeptical and concerned about that 400 million ICX tokens that were supposed to be in reserve, but apparently what I found out is that there's no single entity that's controlling the remaining ICX. The Icon Foundation isn't keeping the remaining ICX in some random wallet in which they're going to be releasing them at their own discretion. They're held on a reserve channel, and the rate of release is algorithmically defined by community protocol. So it's good to know at least that there's some autonomy in that and that there's no centralized control. On to technology. So the Icon thought process is that the value of the blockchain is inherently related to the size and quality of the network that it connects. Icon wants to hyperconnect the world by building one of the largest decentralized networks. This is a system that plans to link all major players from financial, educational, security, commerce, and healthcare industries. Basically, the network allows atomic cross-chains to different blockchains to enable real-time transactions. The project is made up of 5 major components: Icon Community, Icon C Node, Icon Republic, the Community Representative, and the Citizen Node. And those things make up the Icon Nexus. Let's break this down a little bit. The Icon community is a set of nodes which belong to the same governance system. For example, Ethereum would be a community and Bitcoin would be a community. Next up is the Icon Community Node, or the C Node. And these dictate how consensus is run within the individual communities. It's important to note that Icon is an interchain platform, which means that all connecting blockchains will still retain their respective consensus protocols. C nodes are basically the nodes that belong to every other community, and they help to settle and come to consensus within the community. Icon Republic. The Icon Republic connects various communities with one another. It is a collection of independent blockchains that are participating voluntarily under the umbrella of Icon, and it consists of C-Reps and Citizen Nodes. Community Representative, or C-Rep. That's basically what it sounds. It's an individual that is representing their community, and it is a position that is elected. It can also be transferred, which means that it's not a permanent position. The C-Rep is responsible for maintaining the LFT, or the loop fault tolerance consensus within the Icon community. They are rewarded for their work for the Republic by receiving ICX tokens. This is similar to a DPoS or a delegated proof-of-stake system. Citizen Nodes. Citizen Nodes are part of the Icon Republic. It's possible to become one by creating dApps on the Icon loop chain, but it is important to note that they won't have any governance or any voting powers. The last major component is a nexus, and this is a multi-channel blockchain that contains light versions of each and every blockchain within the community. The different blockchains connect to the nexus through portals, or what I've mentioned before, are CREPs. On to consensus. So Icon uses Loopchain, and they state that Loopchain is a high-performance enterprise blockchain that allows for smart contracts. They also state that it can be customized according to operational needs, and then it can connect to other distributed ledger networks. I stated before that Icon runs on LFT, or the Loopchain fault tolerance, for their consensus protocol. LFT finds consensus from the network by settling messages that are sent between individual parties. When a transaction is broadcasted to the network, C nodes, which are the validating nodes, confirm that the transaction is accurate. If the transaction is considered genuine, that CREP node will send its vote back to the rest of the CREP nodes, and then that block will get added to the chain. LFT runs similarly to a DPoS consensus system. So the next logical question is probably, well, what's Icon's ROI, or return on investment? And at this point in time, there's really no actual numbers that can come out, considering that the mainnet just went live. This means that the ERC20 ICX tokens that we all have now haven't been moved to the mainnet yet, which means that you're not going to get a return on investment or any sort of rewards because nothing is staking quite yet. Most POS or DPoS consensus systems reward you by staking, but Icon's done something pretty cool in which they reward you if you help make the network strong and you use the network. So for the average person, the best way to earn ICX tokens is to use the dApps, or the decentralized applications on the network, or to use their decentralized exchange. One of the reasons I think these incentives exist is because one of the major issues we see with decentralized exchanges is liquidity, right? So we're not going to be able to make a sale, we're not going to be able to buy anything or make a trade if there's not some sort of liquidity on the exchange. So incentivizing people to use the DEX and you get to earn ICX tokens will help create liquidity on the exchange. Next is the wallet. And that's one of the core features of Icon, because that's going to allow you to transfer, settle, and trade in real time through the wallet on the decentralized exchange. They also want to try to facilitate the use of Icon as a platform in the future so that people can build on it. Like Ethereum has ERC20 tokens, Icon wants to do something similar. Like most other blockchain-based platforms, Icon's aiming for decentralized governance. Each blockchain will connect to the centralized platform, which is called the Nexus, which I talked about briefly before, and from there they will hold their own governance. The Nexus will facilitate discussion with equal level of representation for each independent blockchain. And this is going to function as like an indirect democracy. With that in mind, Nexus also has features to allow parties to come up with policies and also cast votes. A point of interest is that they do have a very active roadmap. I will leave the link in the description there. And they also have a very large list of cooperating partners or people that they're working with. I'm not going to go through all of that again, but all that information will be in the description if you're interested in finding it. That brings us to recent occurrences. So on January 24th, 2018, they created the first Genesis block of the Icon blockchain, which means that the mainnet went live. They made a public statement that they're going to be testing it and using it, and then shortly it will be available for the public to be used. On February 26, 2018, they released the PC version of their Icon Next wallet, and it functions as a Google Chrome extension. They said in the future we will see iOS and other operating systems available. So sometime this month they're supposed to be transferring the ERC20 version of the ICX tokens to the mainnet, and they're going to give you your actual ICX tokens. And at that point, they're going to burn the ERC20 tokens. They said they're going to give people, a ridiculous amount of time to transfer over and that nobody needs to rush. That's supposed to be happening this month, I think. I can't remember where I saw that. It's either on Reddit or it was on their roadmap, not certain. But it's out there somewhere. And then also, apparently, there's supposed to be some ICOs that are coming down the pipeline around like April, May of this year. There was one use case that really stuck out for me for Icon was the implementation of Icon within the healthcare and the insurance corporations. The idea essentially is to automate as much of the process as possible, obviously because it's on the blockchain, but they want to automate from signing up to dealing with claims that are coming from your doctor's office. Some of you may already know this because I have mentioned it, I think, in a couple videos, but I do work in healthcare as my main job, and I have seen the barriers that healthcare and dealing with insurance can cause for people getting healthcare and having it be more difficult. So removing barriers and having all of that stuff on the blockchain more easily accessible for the doctors or your health insurance, I think would be a big improvement and could definitely be very helpful. Some other potential use cases for Icon, which they've listed on their website, is e-commerce, securities trading, and education and like college stuff. Currently, if you want to buy Icon, there's a bunch of really smaller exchanges that it's on, but as far as bigger ones, you can get it on Binance and you can get it on HitBTC. Now for the final segment of the video, which is downsides. This is usually not everybody's favorite part, but for me, there's a couple. One of which is that as far as platforms go, this has a pretty decent amount of competition. So Ethereum, Bancor, EOS once it gets up and moving, and I think that it's going to be difficult, although this project is specifically trying to pick out other components or other people that they want to deal with, demographics that they want to deal with. There is an influx of platform cryptocurrencies, and that's just going to be an inherent difficulty for them to get over. Something that I did notice a little later than I'd like to admit, considering I own Icon. Obviously, I didn't participate in the ICO, but I bought it after the fact, and I didn't realize, I guess, that it was an ERC20 token. I don't know how, but I bought a bunch of stuff, and I put it on my Ledger Nano S, and I kind of just forgot about it, because that's what I do. And then when I was going through all of this information and I was reading, and I found out that they're going to be moving to the Icon mainnet or the blockchain, that was kind of a barrier for me as far as thinking about other people, because it'd be very easy for someone to buy it like me and then forget and not go back and check or whatever it might be. Again, you should do your own due diligence, and it would be my own fault if something had happened, but that could be confusing for people that it was launched on the Ethereum network as an ERC20 token, and now it's going to be moving to its own blockchain. Or maybe it's just me. Who knows? The final big point that I'd like to say is that this project is really dense, like really, really dense and very confusing. They use a ton of different names for things, and to be honest with you, there is some stuff in my little scripty write-up that I didn't even touch on because it was hard for me to get through it, and I felt bored, and if I feel bored, I'd imagine other people are probably getting bored of the content too. So it was a hard project to understand. I would suggest, as always, do not use my information as trading advice. Do your own research, but take time to really sift through it because there is a ton of information out there. My conclusion is that the project is extremely ambitious. They have a lot of promises to deliver on. They have a lot of things to accomplish still. Again, I say this every video, but 2018 is going to be a huge year for cryptocurrencies. At least I think so. So I am interested to see where the year brings us. As far as accomplishing what they want to do, I hope that they don't try to have their hands in too many baskets, because I feel like they're kind of trying to do too much at once, but I guess we'll really see. That brings me to goodbye, and thank you guys, as always, for watching. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the comments. I really do appreciate it. I try to respond and talk to everybody. Come in my Discord server if you want to hang out and chat about something. If you have an opinion about this video or any video I've done and you want to talk to me about it. If you want to support my channel, you want to help me out, I have a Patreon account. You can donate there, or, I have all the addresses as usual in the description. Also, if you're really interested in a great podcast that has similar content to me, but it's 3 really funny guys, you can check them out at Crypto Basic Podcast. I'm not getting any kickbacks for saying that, and I'm not getting any incentives for telling you guys to watch or listen, rather. I just recently found out about them. I think their content is awesome, and I myself have already listened to like 10 out of their, I don't know, maybe 20-something episodes, so I would suggest going to check them out. Again, thank you, and I will see you guys soon.